The old king lay in the dust, the horns of his prized cattle roaring around him as if mocking his fall. The air smelled of rebellion, the smoke of torched fields rising into the sky. His son, tall and unyielding, stood before him, sword in hand, the army behind him chanting his name. "Father," the young general began, his voice steady, "your time has passed." This was the end for King Juma, ruler of the great Savannah Kingdom for 40 years. He had once been loved by his people, a wise shepherd who led not only his cattle but also his nation to prosperity. His herd, the largest in the land, was a symbol of power and wealth. But as the years stretched, power consumed him. King Juma stopped listening to his advisors and the cries of his people. Taxes grew heavier, and his herd swelled while his people's stomachs emptied. Villages dried up, and rebellion simmered in every corner. Among the restless was his son, Kato, a brilliant soldier and beloved leader of the kingdom's army. Kato had tried to counsel his father, urging him to share the kingdom's wealth and step aside peacefully. But Juma dismissed him, calling him too young to understand the weight of the crown. One fateful day, when Juma ordered another village's lands to be cleared to expand his cattle pasture, the people could take no more. They turned to Kato, pleading for justice. Kato, torn between loyalty to his father and duty to his people, made his decision. Under the cover of night, Kato and his army marched to the royal kraal, where King Juma's cattle were kept. The once loyal soldiers stood aside, their hearts with Kato. The people followed, armed with sticks and stones, chanting for freedom. By dawn, the royal palace was surrounded. Juma, still clinging to his pride, refused to surrender. "I am the chosen one," he roared. "The land and cattle belong to me." But his voice carried no weight anymore. His own son, the leader of his army, stood as the voice of the people. When the gates fell, Juma emerged, his head held high, but the fire in his eyes dimmed. Now, as Kato faced his father, the kingdom held its breath. "This is not the end of your legacy, father," Kato said. "It is the beginning of our people's freedom." Juma lowered his head, finally defeated, not by force, but by the will of the people and the courage of his son. Kato spared his father's life, exiling him to a distant corner of the kingdom where he would live humbly, tending a small herd of cattle. Under Kato's rule, the kingdom healed, the wealth of the land was shared, and the people sang songs of the day a son rose against his father to save the Savannah Kingdom.